Hello students, welcome to your science lesson. Today we are going to look at Unit 6, Language of Chemistry. More specifically, we will be looking at atoms, molecules and formulae. Learning outcomes. By the end of today's lesson, you are expected to recall about elements, symbols, and the periodic table, demonstrate understanding of the terms atom, molecule, and formula. Let us now recall about elements. Can you recall the definition of an element? So, an element is a substance that cannot be broken down into two or more simpler substances. Some examples of elements include aluminium, sulfur, copper, carbon, gold, and oxygen. You can think about some other examples of elements. Elements and their symbols. Each element is represented by a symbol. In fact, a symbol is defined as a shorthand way of representing an element. Some examples of elements and their symbols are shown on the screen. From these examples, you can see that symbols can be of one letter or of two letters. When the symbol is of one letter, it is always a capital letter. For example, the symbol of oxygen is capital O. The symbol of carbon is capital C. The symbol of nitrogen is capital N. When the symbol is of two letters, the first letter is a capital letter and the second letter is small. For example, the symbol of copper is capital C small u. The symbol of silver is capital A small g. The symbol of zinc is capital Z small n. Elements and the periodic table. The periodic table is a special chart in which all known elements are arranged. The position of a particular element in the periodic table can be used to deduce whether the element is a metal or a non-metal. A simplified version of the periodic table is shown on the screen. Usually, elements on the left side of the red line are metals, while elements on the right side of the red line are non-metals. Note that hydrogen is a non-metal. Metals and non-metals. Can you classify these elements as metals or non-metals? Aluminium, sulfur, copper, carbon, gold, oxygen. The answer is given below. Aluminium, copper and gold are metals. Sulfur, carbon and oxygen are non-metals. Let us now learn about atoms of elements. We are going to use an analogy to explain what are atoms. Observe this structure, which is made of several parts or several building blocks. Consider breaking this structure into its individual building blocks as shown on the screen. As you can see, this structure was made of several parts. When this structure is completely broken, the small unit obtained consists of one single building block. If this smallest unit is further broken down, it will no longer be a building block of the structure. In the same way, each element is made up of a large number of very tiny particles called atoms. These particles are very small and cannot be seen with naked eyes. For example, aluminium is made of aluminium atoms. All the aluminium atoms are similar and are joined together in the aluminium foil. Based on what you have just learned, can you try to define the term atom? An atom is the smallest indivisible part of an element which can exist. We have just seen that the element aluminium is made up of aluminium atoms. In the same way, the element gold is made up of gold atoms. The element silver is made up of silver atoms. The element carbon is made up of carbon atoms. The atoms of one element are different from the atoms of another element. For example, a gold atom is different from a silver atom, which is different from a carbon atom. We have seen that aluminium, gold, silver and carbon are solid elements which contain a large number of atoms joined together. However, noble gases like helium, argon and neon exist as separate single atoms, as illustrated on the screen. We have already learned about atoms. Now let us find out about molecules of elements. The molecules of some elements are represented below. you have a chlorine molecule, an oxygen molecule, a hydrogen molecule, and a phosphorus molecule. What do these molecules consist of? You must have noticed that one chlorine molecule consists of two atoms of chlorine joined together. One oxygen molecule consists of two atoms of oxygen joined together. One hydrogen molecule consists of two atoms of hydrogen joined together. One phosphorus molecule consists of four atoms of phosphorus joined together. So, students, can you try to define the term molecule? A molecule consists of two or more atoms joined or combined together. Thus, a molecule of an element consists of two or more atoms of the element joined or combined together. As we have seen in the previous slide, a molecule of oxygen consists of two atoms of oxygen joined together. Note that molecules are formed when atoms of nonmetals joined together. You will learn later about molecules of compounds. Let us now learn about formula of molecule. A molecule is represented by a formula. For example, the formula of oxygen molecule is capital O with a subscript 2. In fact, the symbol of oxygen is capital O. The subscript in the formula indicates the number of atoms in the molecule. Here, the subscript 2 shows that there are two atoms of oxygen in one oxygen molecule. The formula of chlorine molecule is capital C small l followed by a subscript 2. So we have the symbol of chlorine and the subscript 2 indicates that there are two atoms of chlorine in one chlorine molecule. What do you think is the formula of phosphorus molecule? The formula of phosphorus molecule is capital P with a subscript 4. The capital P represents the symbol of phosphorus and the subscript 4 indicates that there are four atoms of phosphorus in one phosphorus molecule. So, the formula of a molecule is a shorthand way of representing the molecule. The formula of a molecule gives the symbol of the element, for example X, present in the molecule as well as the number of atoms in the form of a subscript N. So X represents the symbol of the element, and the subscript N shows that there are N atoms in one molecule. Elements like oxygen, chlorine, and hydrogen exist as molecules consisting of two atoms joined or combined together. Molecules consisting of two atoms joined or combined together are called diatomic molecules. Examples of elements existing as diatomic molecules include hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, bromine, chlorine, fluorine, and iodine. Note their formulae have a subscript 2 showing that each molecule consists of two atoms. The molecules of some elements are made up of more than two atoms. Examples include phosphorus and sulfur. We have already seen earlier that each phosphorus molecule consists of four atoms joined together. On the other hand, each sulfur molecule consists of 8 atoms of sulfur joined together as shown on the screen. Well, students, we have reached the end of today's lesson. Let us summarize what we have seen in today's lesson. An element is a substance that cannot be broken down into two or more simpler substances. All elements are made up of a very large number of atoms. An atom is the smallest indivisible part of an element which can exist. Elements such as argon, neon, and helium exist as single atoms. Some elements exist as molecules. A molecule consists of two or more atoms joined together. Molecules of elements consist of atoms of only one type, that is, of atoms of the element. The formula of a molecule is a shorthand way of representing the molecule. You will learn later about molecules of compounds. Thank you, students, for your attention, and see you for the next science lesson.